Hey folks, Dr. Gerstmar from Aspire Natural Health. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever you happen to be watching or listening to this, I hope you're having a fantastic day. Today I want to talk about a simple but profound question that we can all ask ourselves. A simple but profound question we can all ask ourselves. And that's simply when we wake up in the morning to take a deep breath and just ask ourselves, how are you? How are you? Now, this sounds really super simple, and it is, but a lot of us blow it off. One of two things happen in the morning. The alarm goes off, shocking us awake, and immediately we're inundated with things we need to do, taking care of the kids, getting ready for work, dealing with work, answering emails, all the text and alerts and notifications on our phone, social media, all of these things. We can immediately be diving in without a moment to reflect. Now, some of us have a morning routine where we take some time in the morning to quietly reflect and think things through, and frankly, a lot of us don't. I know I've been on both sides of that. It's very easy to let that slip and get into it. So a very simple, very small piece is to simply ask ourselves, how are you? How are you? Right? That's physically, how are we feeling? So first thing in the morning, ideally, we're waking up feeling pretty good, feeling refreshed, feeling good, feeling eager for the day ahead. Now, not all of us just leap out of bed. I get that. That may be you. But if we're feeling really tired, we're feeling in a lot of pain, we're just not feeling good physically at all, it's okay. We accept that, and we just recognize there's work to be done. If you're doing work, by all means, continue doing work. If you're not doing anything about it, and you wake up physically feeling bad, take that as a warning sign from your body. Work needs to be done. There are things to be done. There are simple things, and then obviously if there's more than that going on, there are more complicated things. Each of us should wake up in the morning, generally speaking, feeling good. If we don't, it's a sign that something is not right and needs to be worked on, adjusted, or changed for us. Now, even more so than our physical side, mentally and emotionally, how are you? Now, it's really common in our society, of course, to people to ask, how are you? And the automatic response is, I'm fine. I'm fine. I'm fine. Right? In fact, we may even tell ourselves that most of the time, I'm fine. I'm okay. And things may be fine. But often we don't take the time to dig a little bit deeper and find out really, truly, how are we? We might be sad, we might be anxious, we might be unhappy, upset, angry, all of those things. And first of all, it's okay. However you're feeling is okay. But again, most of the time, if things are in a good place, we should feel pretty good, pretty happy. We talk about mindset, right? Feeling calm, not anxious, angry, irritable, or upset. Feeling happy. Now, we can't be happy all the time, and that's not what we're talking about. Life has its ups and downs, and those aren't normal. But if everything is working reasonably well for a person in general, much of the time, we should be happy, right? Things are pretty good most of the time for many of us, right? We should feel creative. The normal human spirit is creative, right? We look at little kids. We remember ourselves as little kids. Remember how creative we were? We'd play with things. We'd try things. We'd do new things. We'd put them together in ways. Creativity is a natural human instinct. Now, many of us as adults have grown up or internalized the belief that we are not creative. I'm not a poet or an artist or a musician, so therefore I'm not creative. It's just not true. Many of us have lost touch with our inner creativity. Now, again, some of us that's going to be quote unquote artistic, drawing or painting or music or something else. But for all of us, we can harness and engage the power of creativity in our lives to make something new, to think up new ideas, whatever that might be, and whatever approach or thing that you channel that creativity into, whether it's home. I recently talked with someone, and they let their creativity out full bore in planning their kids' birthday parties. That was really meaningful and important for them. And they got to dream and they got to create and they got to do things, and it brought them a lot of joy and happiness. So again, creativity, we get the idea that it needs to look like one particular thing, and it doesn't. But we can engage creativity in our lives. So when we ask ourselves and we truly take a moment to reflect, how are we? We can get a sense of where we're at. Again, are we angry, upset, sad, depressed? Like, what's going on inside of us? And just like physically, when we take stock of how we are, if it hurts or things are tired, or things aren't working, whatever the issues might be, it is a warning sign. It's the little blinking light that comes on in your car that something isn't right. Now, it's normal and it's natural just to ignore it, right? To drink that cup of coffee and force yourself to get going, pick yourself up by your bootstraps and just force your way through your days. And I get sometimes that's all you can do, and sometimes that's necessary. But in the same way, we look at that warning light in our car and we say, gosh, I better take a look and see what's going on here. Now, sometimes it's simple as, putting a little more oil in the car, and that's a little tweak or something you can do yourself. And sometimes you really got to get it over to the mechanic to get it taken care of. But when we check in with ourselves physically, we say, okay, how do I feel? Do I feel generally good? Or is there something going on? And even just as important, or sometimes more important, how are we mentally and emotionally? We live in it's a tough society that we live in. A lot of us are dealing with mood issues, unhappiness, right? And instead of simply medicating it with food, with alcohol, with marijuana, with other drugs, with shopping, with changing partners, with antidepressants, all of these things, it's instead saying, like, what's going on here? And is there something I can do to change it? And often, for many of us, there is. These issues aren't necessarily easy by any stretch of the imagination. But we think to our relationships. Are we surrounded by loving people we enjoy being around? If we're not, it's very, very difficult, but we can make changes there. Does our job work for us? Like, is it something, no job is perfect and no job that you're going to enjoy all the time, but is it a job that you're okay with, or preferably you like, but at least you're okay with? If not, again, it's not easy, but you can change it. Right? All of these issues, or many of these issues, with time and attention, kindness to ourselves and care, we can make changes. After all, we only have a limited amount of time here on Earth, right? And ideally, we spend as much of it feeling good as we possibly can. All right, so a simple question, folks, a very simple question that we can be tempted to just completely blow over. But one important thing we want to do if we want to stay healthy is to regularly check in with ourselves. We can wake up in the morning, we can take a deep breath, and we can take literally 1 minute to check in. Pretty quick scan, how am I feeling physically? And then how am I feeling mentally and emotionally? If we're finding problems there, it is a call. It's a warning light on the dashboard of your car to look deeper, find out what's going on, and take a look at what you need to do to get better. Now, it may be simple and straightforward, and you may know, so it's simply putting a plan together to make changes, or it may require getting a health practitioner or an expert on board to help figure out what's going on and what you need to do next. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Listen, if you're checking in and you see you've got some issues and you want to get it taken care of, if you're dealing with digestive issues and autoimmunity, you're friendly, open-minded, and coachable, you're sick and tired of being sick and tired, and now is the time to make an investment of time, money, and energy to fix these things, take care of it, to feel good again, then I urge you reach out. Let's have a chat and a conversation together. We are certainly not right to work with everyone, but if we are the right fit to work together, we will help to transform your life. All you need to do is go to the website, aspirenaturalhealth.com. That's aspirenaturalhealth.com, A-S-P-I-R-E, aspirenaturalhealth.com. One of two buttons to click there. The first is ask about price and availability, and I'll tell you more about the way that we work, whether we have any availability at the time you're watching this or we're on a wait list, and what the investment looks like to work with us. If that all sounds good and you know you want to move forward, you're ready to go, then you just click on the second button that says apply for help. Apply for help. All right, folks, that is it for me today. Until next time, take care.